Let's get started. How's the sound? Okay. Yay! Sound is good. Right. So let's welcome to the webinar. My name is Eme Basi. My mission is to help cake decorators profit from their cake decorating talent. I have been in the cake industry for maybe like 2008, so that's like 9 years now, and I've seen it go, up the ups and downs, and I think our time has come. I think our time to really shine and to really put ourselves out there and to really raise the standards. Our time has come. So I think one of the ways that we can really do that is by having a good or a great online presence. And that's why when I was thinking what can I teach or what can I share, with cake people that would actually make a difference, this is what came to mind, that I need to teach people how to build their own websites, have an online presence, and in that way actually raise your profile. So that's why we're doing this website. It's how to build a professional website on a DIY budget, because I know we are cake people and often we don't have money, excess money to spare. But then again, we're cake people, so we know how to get things done even on a budget. So I want to just show you also, and then I also want to show you also how to plan your website. So not just having a pretty website, but actually a website that does what it's supposed to do. So a website that converts for you, a website that gets you customers, that sells your cakes, that connects with your customers and makes you more money. So that's where we are today. And by God's grace, and I do say God, please help us. By God's grace, the tech will behave today, and then I'll be able to take you through the slides. Anything that's not in the slides, I will share with you, just face to face. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will definitely get back to them shortly. So let's just go straight into the screen share. Really, the profitability of cakes can be quite dodgy. Anyway, that's another story. So let's go on. So first secret, and the obvious one, to save money and to have your $1,000 website, you have to do it yourself. Now, doing it yourself, it saves you time and money. It's funny because it does. If you get someone to do it for you, one, you're at the mercy of cake designers, and I have a waiting list of people that are waiting to work with me, and I actually have projects that I are probably going to, so you're kind of at the mercy of a web designer. If you want to make a change to your website, which is recommended, you have to wait for them, you have to pay them, or not to talk of when you want to build the website in the first place, you have to pay your web designer, so it saves you money. Now, I'm a very, when you talk about business or wealth or building anything in life, there's two things that you use to build them. One is time and the other is money. Sometimes you might not have, if you don't have money, you can use time to do the same thing. But if you don't have time, then you would need to use money. So getting that right balance of time and money to say, okay, I'm going to use a little money and put in a bit of time so that I can get the same results without having to spend all this money. So that's why, one of the reasons why you need to do it yourself. You have creative control. You can control what it looks like. You can control what goes on it. You can, if something is wrong, you can take it down. You can change, you can change your focus. You can change the outlook of your website, as at your own time, in your own time, in your own way. So that's the control that you have. Now, if you do it yourself, it's Google friendly for these same reasons, because you can what's the word now? You are if you update your site regularly, even just just tweaking it, fiddling with your site, that's the word, just fiddling with your website, adding something here, removing something there, showing that your website is actually dynamic, it's actually, you're adding a blog post, or you're adding some pictures, or you're changing some words or some descriptions. It makes Google, it makes it easier for you to come up on Google. So that is the reason why you should do it yourself. Now, lots of you might say to me, oh, I don't know, I'm not good at this tech thing. Why? I don't think I can do it myself. But these are the 5 reasons why I know that you can do it yourself. 1, because you're a cake decorator. I mean, you are a cake decorator, please. There's no cake decorating university that I know of, but somehow you got the mad skills that you have now, even without going to any special school for it or whatever. You know how to teach yourself a skill. You know how to pick up skills from here and there and here and there and put them together and make them into something coherent. So don't tell me you cannot build a website. You definitely can. Then you know also how to start and finish a project, which is very important when you're building a website. You also, another reason why I know you can build a website is because you're creative. So these things come naturally to you: patterns, shapes, appearance of something, the full picture. They come naturally to you because that's the way you are. You have that, is it right brain or left brain thing? So that creativity would help you when you're building your website. And of course, you know how to follow a recipe. Website building is not, you don't do 10 different things. I mean, as these slides go through, I'll be showing you pictures of different websites that I've built and all that. They all follow the same process. Even though they all look different, they all follow the same basic process. So once you know the step by step, the click by click, all you need to just change some things around, change, how was that called? You customize it, but it's still the same process. You don't do a different thing one day and a different thing another day. And as a cake decorator, you know how to follow a recipe. You have your recipe that works for you every time, the one they always ask for, and that is, you do it the same way every time. That is what building a website is like. So that is why I know that yes, you can do it yourself. The second reason, or the second way to build $1,000 website is to use WordPress. Now, there's other website builders out there, but WordPress is the best, and I make that statement categorically. It's actually the best. It's best is for its ease of use. It's best because it's easy to use, it's easy to learn. There is a small learning curve, but it's easy to pick up. It's flexible. Let me just go. It's flexible. It's versatile. It's user-friendly. It's Google-friendly. More than half the websites, some people say 60%, some people say 70% of the websites on the whole of the internet use WordPress. And now we're talking of big websites like CNN, universities, and small websites like blogs and little websites. So they use WordPress because WordPress works. WordPress is versatile. If you want to put up a tutorial, you can put it up. If you want to put up a shop, you can put up a shop. A lot of these other free ones, or the all those drag and drop DIY like Wix and what's the name, WordPress.com, not WordPress.org. Some of those free websites, or Tumblr and all those kind of things, they don't have that kind of functionality which you might want to use. Another reason why you want to use WordPress is because, facing the facts, and also because I want to be talking to people not just who are cake decorating, but who are cake decorators but are open to trying new things. So if, for instance, you decide to go in a different direction with your business, or add on something to your business, like maybe you want to add on online classes, online cake classes, or you want to add on a travel blog, or you want to start selling some supplements, or you want to start talking about family matters, or you want to start talking about whatever is close to your heart, knowing how to do a blog or knowing how to do a website with WordPress would really serve you. So it's worth you taking the time to do it properly, learn the skill, and use WordPress. So your WordPress has to be self-hosted. I said self-hosted here. That just means that technically you own the website, so you are hosting the website. So obviously you are not really a host. What you do then is that you hire or you rent space from a host. So and so your it's free, but then you have to pay for the hosting. So the software itself, the WordPress.org software, is free, but you pay for it with a host. And I'll tell you about a couple of hosts. The one that I recommend, which you probably see the link on the page, is called Bluehost, and there are a couple of others which are good as well. I think one.com is good, you know, but so that's the reason why you need to use WordPress. It's flexible, it's versatile, and another thing is that WordPress has some really beautiful templates. So the WordPress templates gives you that choice, a really wide choice of templates. You have the free ones, the paid ones, and all that kind of thing. So this is Cake PLC website, just a shop front, just to give you an example. And just a quick note, WordPress gives you variety. It gives you control, and it's versatile. Right, so the third thing that to make your website to have that professional look is the photography and the graphics that you use for your website. So like on this website here, the photos I think were taken by a professional photographer. Some of those things you might need to invest in. Either, when I say invest, doesn't mean that you have to have a professional photographer, but sometimes even invest in taking the time to clear up your kitchen counter so that you can take a picture of your cake without having clutter around it, without your kettle in the background and somebody's shoes or a coat hanging in the background, you know. But excellent photography, and then also graphics. Now, all these things I'm talking about, they are so much easier to do these days than they used to be when we first started. So you really don't have any excuse for being able to do this. And in fact, let me show you. I think I'll go back a bit. So now if you look at this Cake PLC website and then look at this, you can actually, you might not notice it, but these two, I just noticed it, so let me mention that. These two were built with the same template. So once you have your own, let me go back again. So there's that one, and there's that one. So they were built with the same template, and it's just a case of adding your own special touches to something, and they look like two completely different websites because they are, you know, even though you use the same theme. So that's by the way. So clear, large photographs make your website pop. Yeah. Now, I've already mentioned this. The fourth thing is to invest in a good WordPress template or theme. So within WordPress, they have some free themes. Some are quite nice. You can use them if you don't have the budget to buy a premium theme. If you want to buy a premium theme, there's a few places you can go. There's Design by Bloom, which I recommend. There's Creative Market, and there's Studio Press. I use Studio Press themes, and then also the Genesis framework is what Studio Press uses, and I use the themes that have a Genesis framework. So when we go into the actual building of the website, I can explain that to you a bit. But basically, one of the things that you need to do is just invest in a good theme. The price for themes would run from between, you can find something as low as $29, but usually most of them are about $49, and then a few ones that are up to $65, $79 for a good theme. So if I say make an investment, that would be what you need to do. Invest in a good theme. So right. Okay. So I had already mentioned this. Even when two people use the same template, the results are different. So this is just another of my recent website projects. Right. The fifth thing to make your website professional and look like it's $1,000 website is your branding. So you want to be consistent with your branding. One important thing I would say, well, not very important, really, actually not that important. But one thing that I would say, especially for a cake person, is that you should invest in a logo. There's places where you can get logos now. There's Fiverr, Fiverr.com, where they say you can pay a $5 or around $5 to build to have a logo made for you. You can go to Etsy. I use Etsy most of the time. Every time I want to do a logo, because I can make a logo, but I think the graphic designers that do logos actually do a better job. So I every time I need a logo, I just buy one from Etsy. They have pre-made logos where you can just go look at them, choose the one you like, and then say, okay, Mrs. Logo Maker or Mr. Logo Maker, just add, put my name on this logo. In fact, my Exotic Fantastic website, and my Exotic Fantastic logo, the school logo, was from Etsy. I think at that time it cost me maybe $45, which was expensive. Most of them are cheaper, like £12, £15, £25, that kind of price. So your logo, your colors, you have to be very deliberate about the kind of colors that you use and be consistent more than anything. So anything that you're doing, just be consistent. So for instance, if you're using this set of colors, you want to be consistent. If you're using a particular set of fonts for your writing or your words, you want to be consistent. And when you're consistent, I mean consistent not just on your website, but also on your social media, on your Instagram, your Facebook. You want to be consistent in your branding and your styling. So another thing about making your website look like $1,000 website is you want to make it very visual. So you want to have loads of pictures or graphics, and your pictures should be clear and clean. Now, if you have pictures where there's clutter and all that, you can either find a way to take off the background, and I will mention this in the chat. If you have a picture that you want to take a background off, there's something called Clipping Magic that I use. Clipping Magic, I'll just type it in the chat there. Magic.com. It's a subscription, but I think it's what they call it. It's like $2-3 a month, and then if you need it, if you don't need it, you just allow it to lapse. If the time you need it, you just pay the $3 and the subscription goes on for the month. So if you have pictures, what I'm just saying is, if you have pictures, but maybe you took them and you have all those backgrounds on them, but you still want to use those pictures, go to something like Clipping Magic and find a way to isolate the pictures. It's easy to use, very intuitive, and just get your pictures looking good. Put them on a white background or a colored background, but generally your pictures have to look nice. If you have, if what you're doing is relevant, if your website is relevant to your website, you can also use stock imagery. So stock photographs, you can find them for free or paid ones, but make sure that they are royalty free, so that you say who the photographer is. Give the credit to whoever's photograph you use, you know. So I use Deposit Photos at the moment. Adobe, I think, has stock photos, and then there's some others, iStock Photography and that kind of thing. So these are the secrets, you know. So these are the things that actually make websites look amazing. Beautiful photography. So don't fill your website with, people don't want to go to your website and just start reading and reading and reading. Nobody wants to do that. You know, nobody has time for that. Another thing is photos of your cakes, but also photos of your cakes on location. I like to call them cakes in action. So somebody eating your cake, somebody receiving your cake, the bride cutting the cake, those kind of photographs. Make sure you have those kind of photographs as well. Right. Now, copy is just the words you write, and the seventh thing is copy that speaks to your ideal customer. So your copy must be clear and simple. It must be easy for somebody to see what the words are on your website and identify themselves and say, okay, yes, this website is for somebody like me, or this website is for me, or the things that this person do are for somebody like me, and you know, and they are the kind of things that I want. So the words you use would actually tell your customer whether, yes, they're in the right place, you know. So like I said, another secret is that your website is not about you and your cakes. Your website really should always have the customer at the top of your mind. So you should always have a customer at the top of your mind when you are building your website. It's not about you, it's about them. So you want to put something out there that makes them comfortable, makes them know they're in the right place, makes them know that you're talking to them. So that's what we're talking about. So that's it for the 7 things. So let me just quickly go over them, if I remember correctly. 1, do it yourself. 2, use WordPress. 3, your photography and your graphics. Your branding, consistent branding. Your copy. What else did we talk about? Invest in a good theme. And something else, which I cannot remember. But yeah, so those are the 7 secrets of a $1,000 website on a $100 budget. So speaking of budget, for something like that, for your website, you're talking of paying for hosting. That's one of your major expenses. Hosting is like a rental. You can pay for a year, and your host the host company would host your website. So it's like buying land. You buy land, and then you are the one that's built. You own the house, and the land is owned by the government, whatever. So you buy that hosting space, or that hosting what's that word? What's the word now? That hosting is like a technical word. Data, almost like buying data, you know. So you have that bandwidth, that's the word, bandwidth. So you have a bandwidth that is dedicated to you, where your website is going to sit on, and that is what will make your website available to everybody in the world. So you buy your bandwidth, or your hosting rather, which would be about between $50, $60 to $120 per year. If you buy more years, more like 3 months, it would be costless. Oh, now that I mention it, Bluehost has a sale on at the moment, 60% off, and it's a genuine sale. It finishes tomorrow morning about 7 a.m. So it finishes about less than 24 hours. Anyway, it finishes about 20 hours or so. So if you have the budget for it, and you can get up to 3 years for less than $100. So please look for the link below this video, or below the thing. If you are watching it today, 27th of June, check out Bluehost. You should be able to get that discount. It's a flash sale. You know, I just found out about it yesterday. So if you have the budget, quickly get your Bluehost hosting. So that's your budget, about $160 to $100 for hosting. For the domain, for if you buy with Bluehost, it will include the domain. If you're buying the domain on its own, you usually be about between $1 to $15. And then if you're buying a theme would cost you, again, either free or your premium theme would cost you about $50. So you're talking about, but you know, these things, it's nice. This thing is nice because you know what to do, so you can do it when you have the budget. So you can buy your hosting, you know, and then get started, and then maybe a week later or a few days later, or when next you have the money, then you pay $50 and choose a theme and install the theme. So those are that's how you get this thing done, you know. Now that I mention it, because I don't think I have it on my slides, there's 3 steps to setting up your website. 1 is your domain, 2 is your hosting, and 3 is your installation. It's that simple. It's a 3-step process. So once you buy your Bluehost, you just go into Bluehost, click install WordPress, and you're off to the races. Just click install WordPress, follow the instructions, and if you have any trouble, let me know. So now let's go to the essential pages. Very, very important. Very, 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 very important. The essential pages that your website must have. Right. So then just keep checking the chat. See who's there and what we're saying. Okay, so somebody says she's taking notes. I'm glad. Right, so your about page, the first thing I'm talking about, and you know why? It's actually the about page tends to be the first thing that most visitors check. You know, statistics have shown that most visitors, when they go to a website and they are interested in what the website has to offer, the first thing that they check out is your about page. And I cannot say how many times I have gone on a Cake Decorators website and there is no about page. You know, your about page is a chance for you to actually start a conversation with your customer, connect with your customer, tell them who you are, what you do, what you offer, how to work with you, you know, all the information that they need, you know, all the questions that they're asking, you know. This is your chance, as well as to be able to show a bit of your personality and make it, you know, give your customers a chance to connect with you. So, and it's a chance for you to connect with your ideal customer. So your about page is very important. You cannot have a website without having an about page that has had some thoughts and, you know, strategy going into it. Again, your about page is even though it's about you, it's not really about you, because it's about your customer. So it's about who they are and what they want and how you can help. So if you're able to answer those questions, that would help you, you know, to write what your about page is about. You can also, you know, talk about what you've done in the past and how, you know, that would give them also the confidence to work with you. So like I said, it's a page that is most visited page on most websites. You know, if you check your statistics, you'll find that most people, the first page they visit is the about page. Now, it's a chance for you, of course, to show your own personality, to show your uniqueness, pictures of you, pictures of your work, or you at work, pictures of your family, whatever, that kind of thing. So your website will be, again, as unique as you. That's another of the websites I've built. Right. So the next thing that you have to have essentially is a way to capture emails. Now, what you need to understand is that even though you have a website and it's beautiful and whatever, most people don't buy the first moment they come to your website. Most people don't just pull out their wallet as soon as they come to a website, except if it's Amazon. And since we're not Amazon, we have to find a way to, I mean, there's in marketing, people say you need to have at least 7 touches. Some people say 5 touches, some say 12, whatever. But you have to have more than one contact with the person that is going to buy from you. So, I mean, there's many things that okay, let's put it like this. There's a shop. Every time you pass by the shop, you see something that you like is in the window of the shop, and in your mind, you know that this is going on my mental wish list. Whenever I have money, I'm going to come buy this thing, Or there's something that you're looking at, you can't afford it yet. Maybe like on eBay, you put it in your basket, but you know that you're going to come back buy it. So it's the same thing with your website, and or with your cake. People will not buy from you the minute they come to your website, just as they might not buy from you the minute they meet you. But then if you're able to you're able to keep yourself at the top of the person's mind, then that is a way for them to get to buy from you when they're ready. Like somebody who is getting married, obviously they're not getting married every day, but if they know you, if you've captured their email, and if when it's time for them to need it, when they need a cake, when it's a birthday or whatever, or a christening or a baby shower or a wedding, then they know that it's you, that you are the first person that comes to their mind, because you've started a relationship with them. So that's what email capture is all about. That's the point of being able to capture people's emails. Because people don't buy at the first touch, you have to stay at the top of their mind. You have to build a relationship, and it's the most effective selling tool online. Now, if you saw or if you took part in one of my former trainings on marketing, but really face-to-face marketing, this is what this is one of the things that we talked about that really would make you stand out. Being able to follow up with people, being able to keep in touch with them, being able to build relationships with them, being able to make sure that whenever they think of a cake, it's you that they think of. So that is the same thing that email does for you. Email is a way for you to keep in touch with people. So you're emailing them once a month or once a week or whatever, and then just having a conversation with them, and telling them what you have to offer, telling them, talking about different dates or holidays, or giving them ideas and tips, and just doing life with people. You can do that with email, as well as selling with email. So your website has to have a way to capture people's emails, and it's not enough. It's not enough really to just say sign up for my newsletter or sign up for my email. You have to give them a reason to do that, And one way you can get creative with this, but you can get creative with this, but basically you want to give them something that would be relevant to them. For instance, if it's a bride, you could say, this is your here's your wedding day checklist. So day of the wedding checklist, 10 things to remember on your wedding day, or 10 things to remember or check off, whatever, that kind of thing. Or party planning tips for if you are doing selling birthday cakes or whatever. So something that you can create, a document, a PDF, a download, or even just asking them to download your catalog or your lookbook or your latest designs or whatever. Something that you can ask them to download or sign up for, or sign up to join, or sign up to get. That way it's sometimes called an ethical bribe. You want to give them something that they will now share. You know, they would exchange in exchange for their email. So that's another essential that you should have. So testimonials. The third thing that you absolutely must have on your website is testimonials. There must be some form of the word escapes my mind, and I'm trying to social proof. That's the word. Social proof. There must be some form of social proof that people, because it's funny, because people believe what other people say about you more than they believe what you say about you. I mean, if you come and say, oh, I'm so beautiful, I'm so wonderful, I'm so kind, I'm so generous, whatever, somebody might believe you, you know. But then if somebody else comes and says, oh, that woman is so kind, she's so generous, I mean, I met her and I've talked with her, I've worked with her or whatever, and she's so kind and wonderful and generous, people tend to believe those people more than they believe you when you say it about yourself. So that is natural human nature. That is what social media is all about. That's how you have word of mouth from social media. When people talk about you, when people say good things, when other people, not just you, other people, that's how things go viral, because somebody is recommending something to somebody who is recommending it to somebody else, who says, oh, I know you, you're my friend, I know you will like this thing, go check it out. That's how things go viral. So that's the same thing with the test. That's the same principle of testimonials. You want to have testimonials on your website, either on a dedicated page and or on your front page, but you have to have something that shows what people have said about you. If somebody wrote you a handwritten note, you can take a picture of that and put it up on your website. If somebody sent you flowers, take a picture, put it on your website. If somebody said something nice about you, or even if you don't have somebody, you can actually go to a customer, or after an event, put on your camera and tell them to say something into the camera and say, how did you enjoy the cake? And then you film that, you record it, rather, you upload it to your website, and there is somebody, a real life customer, who is saying how wonderful your cakes were and how you really took care of them during their event or whatever. And that makes such a difference. So testimonials, you have to find a way to make them prominent on your website, because that alone would really push things over the edge. I remember this lady who started Pretty Witty Cakes. When she started, I just remember this. From when she started, right at the top of her website, she had people who, she had some amazing testimonials. And whether you think about it, whether you, even without thinking about it, you realize that is the testimonials that kind of make people say, oh wow, I would like to take a class with this lady, because right there at the top, somebody is saying, it's the best class I've ever taken, is the, I loved the this and I loved the that, and oh, this is possibly the, just gushing, somebody saying something. And your cakes, people have probably said wonderful things about your cakes. So now it's your job for you to find a way to record those things and share them with people and put it on your website, either on your front page or on a dedicated page on its own, to say this is the page where people praising, or these are the kind words or whatever that people have said about you. So like I said, testimonials give people a reason to trust you, a reason to believe you. It breaks down the barriers of people wanting to work with you. Another wonderful thing about testimonials is that it gives it helps people to put themselves in the picture of working with you. So if somebody is saying, when I worked with her, she was like this and she was like that and she did this and she did that, then it actually helps people to say, okay, if I wanted to work with them, this is what it would look like, so they're able to put themselves in the picture, and that makes such a difference, being able to get somebody to put themselves in the picture of working with you. So that is the reason why you need testimonials. So hope you're getting something out of this. If you are, just say yes and let's go. Now, this one, I didn't even write anything. All I just want to say, number 4, put your location on your cake website. I don't know how many cake websites I've been to where the person doesn't even say what city they serve. You need to say your location. Where are you? It has to be on your, it sounds obvious, but it's just something that a lot of people miss, and then you now have to start hunting around the website. Nobody wants to be hunting and clicking around the website to say, oh, is this person in London, or are they really in Nigeria, or are they in Australia? I need a cake for my child's birthday next Saturday. How do I get it? Do I have to travel to Manchester, or that kind of thing? So you need to say where you are. Somewhere on your website, in your front page, you have to say what your location is. Okay, so that grant didn't take me that long. Right. So another of my website projects. Right. 4th thing is your pictures. I think I've mentioned it a bit, but I'll mention it again. So different ways that you can put pictures on your website would be having a dedicated gallery or a portfolio page. You can have a lookbook, which where you have a picture of a specific type of cake and then talk a bit about it. You can have blog posts, feature images on your blog posts, which would actually be peppered throughout your website. You can have, and another thing which a lot of people miss is that you should have some headshots and pictures of yourself, even on your front page, depending on what kind of website that you are building, and images that people can pin onto Pinterest is also worth looking into. So pictures, definitely. Now, you should also have a welcoming home page. So these are just your essentials, and these are the things that I make sure every time I build a website for somebody, this is what they have. So again, I'm just repeating some of the things I've said already, but your homepage should have these following things. Your homepage should say your location. It should have an email capture form of some sort, preferably nicely branded. You should have testimonials. I said logos as well, because sometimes you might want to have pictures of logos of companies that you've worked, or organizations that you've worked with, having their logos out there, to say as seen in, or as featured in, or just having that logo gives a lot of social proof as well. Your welcoming page should have your value statement. So when I talk about your value statement, it should say, 1, who you serve, and it should say what you do. So your value statement could be something like, I help such and such a person do such and such a thing. In the case of a cake decorator, you need to say, and this is absolutely necessary, you need to say what and who you serve and what kind of cakes you make, or what kind of occasions you make the cakes for. So you actually have to declare a specialty or a niche to say, these are the kind of cakes that I specialize in. I make wedding cakes for brides in London, or I make wedding cakes for mature brides in London. If you're able to have a niche, to say this is the specialty of the kind of cake I make, or this is the location that I serve. And then if you are able to have also a target to say this is the kind of person that I serve, then that would help you to create a value statement that would also kind of make the customer be able to say, okay, this person is for me. Or if they know somebody like that, then they'll say, this is the kind of, if you want this kind of cake, then this person is right. This cake decorator is just the right person for it. Finally, your homepage should always have one thing that you want your visitor to do. So there must be one thing, and if possible, that one thing should be repeated strategically over and over again on your welcome page. So that, and I'll explain what I mean by one thing. I'll give you some examples. So your one thing on your front page could be you want them to sign up for email. If that's your one thing, you know that after the email, you're going to follow up with them and, you know, get in touch with them through email and sell to them through email, then that is what you want them to do. Second thing is book a consultation. That's another example of one thing that you want them to do. So on your front page, you could say, this is the way to work with me, and click here to book a consultation. You could say download the catalog. You could ask them to attend a tasting or a tasting event, or to book a tasting. You could ask them to call you, put your phone number prominently, or you could ask them to book, fill a form, and you call them back. Whatever it is, not more than one thing. You don't want to give people too many choices and confuse them and make them do nothing. You want your front page to always be very obvious about what is the next step that you want your customer to take. So that's what I mean by the one thing. So your front page should have that one thing. So those are the essentials. So one, your about page. Two, a way to capture your emails. Three, testimonials. Four, photographs and pictures in different ways, either gallery, lookbook, blog posts, whatever. They should be enriched in photographs. And finally, your welcoming front page that speaks to your customer, which would contain the which would include your location, email capture, testimonials, value statement, and obviously your one thing.